All right, so I want to talk about real quickly why you want to turn a subwoofer backwards in your car. Now, the reason why you want to turn it backwards is, let's say we have our little car here with our little subwoofer and it's facing forwards. You think, oh, it's facing forwards, it's going to be as loud as it could be. We want it playing towards the drivers and towards the people in the car. Well, no. And the reason why is because a subwoofer, it plays in all directions. Okay, when you stand behind a subwoofer and you listen to it playing away from you, you still hear it, right? Because sound waves from the subwoofer go in all directions. They don't just go forward. So what happens to the sound waves that go backwards or go away from the front? Here's what happens. The sound wave plays, begins its sinusoidal path, bounces off the trunk and continues, and now when it heads forward, it's out of phase with the sound waves going forwards. When you have two sound waves out of phase, they cancel each other out. Okay, so basically what happens is the sound waves that are going backwards are much less in intensity. So when they're canceled out in front, it lowers it by just a little bit. So it's not super significant, but it's quieter because those sound waves are just canceled out of the total of your output. So what happens if you turn the subwoofer around? Okay, let's turn our little guy 180 degrees. Now, what happens to the sound waves? Let me erase this real quick so we can get this going. All right, so what happens is the sound waves going forwards, backwards, play like normal. Okay. So these are the sound waves that go backwards. Now it's just like normal. They're going backwards. Okay, so what happens to the sound waves going forwards? Here's what happens. They play and they bounce off the trunk immediately and continue their path mostly in phase. They're going to be a little bit out of phase, but what's going to happen is because they're mostly in phase, it's going to increase your decibel levels by that much. So instead of the sound waves when the subwoofer's facing forward hurting you, when you turn it towards the trunk, you're actually capturing the sound waves going forward and the sound waves going backwards. And it increases your output in total. So that's why you want to turn a subwoofer backwards. People will say, oh, my friend had a subwoofer, he had it facing forwards, and my friend had a subwoofer on the hood, like whatever. Like, people have all these anecdotes. Scientifically, you want it facing as close to the trunk as possible without the protrusion of the subwoofer like smacking your trunk. But that's basically why. It's just the sound waves, you're capturing both the forward and the backward sound waves, instead of the sound waves going backwards actually canceling out when they go forward.